తరచి చదువు చదివి తర్కవాదమే కానీ పూర్ణ జ్ఞానంబు ఎప్పుడు పొందలేదు. చదువులన్నీ చదివి చావంగనేటికి చావులేని చదువు చదవవలయు. In a science class, you'll get hundreds of students. Every parent wants to admit their children into science. They'll become engineers, doctors, scientists, and make a lot of money. Then you have the next level, some parents, anyway, all I have got is this fellow who can at best get admitted to some commerce or arts. Let's put him there or her there. But in spiritual class, like Shri Krishna's class, there is only one student, Arjuna. He says here, Kachiddhira pratyagata atmanamaikshat. Somebody, one out of many, decides to walk this spiritual path because he wants to realize immortality, says Yama Dharmaraja to Nachiketa in Katopnishat. Kachiddhira pratyagatmanamaikshat avrutta chakshu amrutatvam icchan. Somebody, one amongst the thousands, decides to walk the spiritual path. Why? Because he is desirous of immortality. He doesn't want to die. Chavuleni chadu. He does not want to die after all reading and educating himself in all schools and colleges. He wants to study that which will help him attain immortality. And once for all, he is redeemed from the cycle of birth and death, from all bondage. That is the student that Arjuna is. And Sri Krishna is trying to teach him this lesson. That how he must turn his gaze inwards, find that self within, and be redeemed of all this idea of doership, enjoyership, and be free. That is the lesson that Sri Krishna Paramatma is teaching. And look at the classroom. It is a battlefield. The most unique classroom, most unique teacher, and the most unique student. This is Bhagavad Gita, a lesson in spirituality given by the highest supreme Sri Krishna Paramatma to the most eligible student, Arjuna, who is having Shraddha and also is having inquisitiveness, inquiry. He doesn't just listen and keep quiet. Whenever he gets a doubt, he asks Sri Krishna, please clarify this doubt. That makes Krishna happy. Because a teacher loves a student who wants to learn, who wants to know, who is hungry for knowledge. And Arjuna is hungry. And as you say, Gita is like the mother cow. All the Upanishads are like cow, and Gita is the milk of that Upanishad. Krishna is the man, the milkman who is milking this cow, and Arjuna is the hungry calf. Sudhir Bhokta, he drinks for a long time. Also, he is one of the person with good intellect. So, he is the one who is the student. So, in this class of one student, one teacher, 1:1 teacher-pupil ratio, this class is going on. Before getting into Vijnana Yoga, which is the 7th chapter, a small recap of the Dhyana Yoga that we had studied. I thought that would help us to remember why Sri Krishna is teaching Vijnana Yoga. He is a very methodical teacher, as we learnt last time. He slowly builds up the class, slowly builds up the concepts. He doesn't start off all of a sudden, but he gradually builds this spiritual concept. So in the Dhyana Yoga, he had mentioned that one has to steady one's mind and keep thoughts in a steady state. There should not be fluctuations in the mind. That is what dhyana is meant for. Chittasya shuddhaye karma. You have to do action for purification of your mind. But to steady the mind, ekagryatham upasana, it is said. Meditation is necessary to steady the mind. Now, meditation could be on anything. Meditation is only a process, like walking is a process, talking is a process, eating is a process. You can walk to anywhere using the same process of walking. You can talk anything using the same mouth and the process of talking. You can, as I said, you can see anything using the process of seeing or vision, or hear anything. When meditation is directed towards the divine, supreme divine, then it becomes a spiritual process. Else, a cricketer, a batsman who is at the field trying to hit the ball thrown by the bowler, he is also in the state of meditation. He is also completely focused on that one thought, ekatanata. Continuously he is thinking about that one ball which is coming and he has to hit. So he is also in a state of, at that point of time, in a state of dharana or dhyana. Dhyana means meditation, because he is completely focused and concentrating on the ball. He cannot hear the crowds cheering, he cannot hear anybody else, he cannot see anybody else. So that is meditation. But when it is directed towards God, to realize the truth, it becomes a spiritual process. So meditation by itself is neither spiritual nor unspiritual. But the use of it is spiritual or unspiritual, like everything in the world. So Krishna says first in the 5th shloka, Uddhared Atmana Atmanam Atmanam Avasadayat. Don't blame for your follies and frailties and failures on others. Because you yourself are responsible for your betterment, you yourself are cause of your downfall. This is what Krishna makes it very clear to Arjuna. Oh, these students are making noise, so I could not meditate today. Today back was aching, so I could not meditate. And worse still, I could not find the deer skin and the kusha grass, therefore I did not meditate today. I had assignments to do, so I did not meditate today. Of all the things, we are ready to sacrifice God and our spiritual activities. Everything else remains. We have to eat on time, we have to sleep on time, we have to study, we have to earn our money, we have to go to office. Nobody compromises on that. But when it comes to spiritual activities, we compromise. So Krishna says, Uddared Atmanatma, you alone can help yourself, you alone can harm yourself. Don't blame others for whatever you don't do right on the spiritual path. Then he gives an example of how, he gives the explanation of how meditation is to be done. Find a calm, sacred place, put kusha grass, put a deer skin and put cloth on it, sit on top with steady, straight spine, no shaking, no bending, and slowly concentrate your breath on the tip of your nose and meditate on one thought. It could be any thought. It could be a thought of a form and a name. It could be just a thought like Aham Brahma, Sarvam Brahma. It could be anything. Idea is to learn to focus your mind, because a focused mind is very powerful. When you put the lens through this on a piece of paper and let the sunlight pass through it, all the rays get concentrated onto one spot and paper can burn. Likewise, a meditative mind, a focused mind, a concentrated mind is very, very powerful. It can attain anything, it can pierce through any layers of ignorance and realize the truth. Scientists also have to think like that. Sportsmen also have to think like that. A musician has to think like that. Even a lady who is cooking in the kitchen for their family, she also has to be in the state of meditation. Everybody needs meditation, but when that meditation is directed towards realizing the truth, it becomes Dhyana Yoga. Otherwise, it remains Dhyana only. Yoga is when it joins you or unites you to your true self. So that is the idea of meditation. He says how you should do. You should not go to extremities. Many people think, no, I'll get up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock and meditate. Some other people take to extremes of meditation, go to Himalaya in cold, icy caves and try to meditate. But Krishna says very simply, don't complicate spirituality. Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta karma, cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Keep everything under moderation. Eat on time, eat appropriately. Sleep on time, sleep appropriately. Anything that you do, any activity or rest should be moderated. This is spirituality. Extremes is not spirituality. See how clear it is. Yet there are so many people who scare you with the kind of austerities they want you to perform to become a spiritual person. It's not necessary, Krishna is saying. Moderation is the key. And he says the one whose mind meditates, his mind is like a flame of a lamp where there is no wind, completely steady. So many people do this Jyoti meditation. They meditate on the flame and think that my mind should also be like that flame. No other thoughts come. But then you will say it's not possible, thoughts keep coming. Arjuna also says very difficult thought keeps coming. Krishna says yes, it keeps coming, but then you can control your mind through practice. Abhyasena yogena vairagyena cha grihate. Abhyasa yogena tato vairagya. So abhyasa and vairagya is required. Practice is required, like anybody needs practice, right? Even to hit a cricket ball, you need practice. Even to play tabla or sing a song, you need practice. Write or speak, everything needs practice. So this also needs practice. What is special about it? But along with practice is required vairagya. What is vairagya? Not getting attached to the action or the result is vairagya. Not getting to anything is vairagya. Means if you have too many desires in your mind, you cannot focus on God. You will be focusing on the desires. So reduce your desires is what Krishna is saying. Now, desire to study, is it a good thing or not? Yes, desire to study is a good thing, but desire to be the topper and make sure that nobody else reaches anywhere, and that kind of a thing is not a good thing. You study as you need to study. If you need to top the class, it will happen because you have studied well. So that kind of vairagya who develops can develop a steady mind. Such a steady mind can attain God. And why people want to do meditation seems like a painful process. Sleeping is easy, eating is easy, but if you don't put efforts, you gain nothing in life. So also is with meditation. Why you should meditation? Because it says, Sukham Atyantikam, it gives you the highest kind of pleasure or happiness, which does not go. You eat a gulab jamun, pleasure lasts half an hour. You go and play, pleasure lasts an hour. You sleep, pleasure lasts a few hours. But this kind of meditative mind, the one who possesses, his joy is forever. He is never thrown into sorrow. And it says, even if difficulties and sorrows come, he is able to remain steady. He says, na dukhyena guruna api vichalyate. Even if biggest of the sorrows come, some relative passed away, somebody very near and dear is no more, you lost a match, your warden gave you ashirvachana in the morning, anything you can tolerate. Why? Because you have developed that kind of detached meditative mind. That's why meditative mind is very important. That is the idea. But you can't do it all of a sudden. So he says, shanaihe uparamet. Slowly, slowly you do it. Don't just go and try to hit the six on the first ball. Slowly understand the pitch, understand the baller, understand the technique, the fielders, watch around. Then you plan your hit. Like that, slowly, slowly you have to learn to meditate. But put efforts, he says. And he says, the one who meditates sees me and all in me. Sarvabhutasya atmanam, sarvabhutani chatmani. He sees me in all and all in me. It means he sees God in everything. He sees God in everything. God means not a form and name. You don't see Krishna. You don't see a particular form. But you feel that presence of God in everything, in everyone. So what happens? Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshina. He becomes equal-minded. In everybody, somebody scolds also, he thinks, see, God is coming and teaching me something through this person. Somebody praises also, he thinks God is coming and praising me through this person. In every situation, he sees the hand of God. That is what it says. Patibodha viditam matam amrutatvam hi vindate. Our Upanishad say, in every act, see the hand of God. Kena Upanishad says. And if you see that continuously, you will become immortal. You will become God, like God, he says. So he says, Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. The one who can develop this attitude of seeing me in all and all in me, I am never lost to that person because he'll feel God everywhere. He will never lose the sight of God. Somebody was telling me, I don't feel confident all the time. Why is it? I told, because you don't have faith in me. So it doesn't mean faith in me as a body. Faith in the idea of God, that God is there, God is looking after everything, God will take care. I should not fear. That feeling should be developed. That is what Krishna says. How can you not, see, today Krishna is not around, right? Arjuna could have had Krishna with him all the time. But how can we have Krishna? What Krishna means to say is, feel God in everything and everyone. Many people say, Swami, be with me, I'm going on this tour, or I'm traveling to my home, please be with me. To them also I tell, you be with me. I'm always there, you be with me. Your mind is elsewhere. So when you feel me in everything and in everyone, how can you lose me? And how can I lose you? So that is what Krishna says. Such a jnani with meditation who is able to find the truth that God is in all, in everything, will never come to a state where he feels alone. He is always surrounded by God. Inside, antarbahishta tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthitaha. His paristhiti like Prahalada. All the time he is feeling Narayana. His father throws from the mountain, Narayana, Narayana. So gets bitten by the snake, Narayana. Throws into the fire, Narayana. In everything he sees Narayana. So that is the idea of such a yogi. But Krishna, as usual, Arjuna says, I am not a yogi like that. I am not going to be able to do all these things. Chanchalam himana. So Krishna says, you practice and you will get it. And then Arjuna says, what if I practice and fail? Because I know my steadiness and my efforts. Still Krishna gives such a big assurance. He says, in this effort of spiritual path, no effort is lost. He says, Partha naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit kashchit durgatim tata gacchati. The one who does some good on the spiritual path never comes to ruin, never meets a bad fate. All his efforts are rewarded. And he goes on to say, they are born in different lokas, or they go to different lokas, or they are born in different families where they can continue their spiritual journey because of their karma. Same thing our Mundaka Upanishad, Kama bhirjayate tatra tatra. Based on your desire, you are born in different places. We heard the Jada Bharata story. He was born as a deer because he thought of being a deer. Thought of a deer, so he became a deer. Then again he became a jnani. So very important what you think. And you think at the last moment I will think of God somehow. It's not going to happen. That the man who names his sons Rama, Krishna, Govinda, Madhava, who runs a shop. And in his last moment he thinks, if I call my son's name, I will be remembering God, so I will get moksha. And then the last moment comes, he's feeling that he's going to leave the body. He shouts, Rama, Krishna, Govinda, Madhava, all four sons come running. He says, all of you are here, who is looking after the shop? And dies. Idea is that you can't think of God all of a sudden unless you have practiced it all your life. So this is the idea. So aneka janma sansiddha tato yati param gatim. After many births of practice, one attains this state of steadiness of mind, remembers God, feels God all the time, and is redeemed. So Krishna tells Arjuna, therefore tapasvi be adhiko yogi. You are a yogi who is connected to God all the time is better than a tapasvi who is trying. Better than jnani abhyopi matodikaha. From those who know all the scriptures and all the knowledge theory, is better than them because he has practical knowledge of experiencing divinity. And he says that such a person you become. Tasmat yogi bhavarjuna, he says. Therefore try to become that yogi. Yogi means the one who is always united in mind with God. Like we talked about, like the toothache is there. Whatever class is going on, maths, science, English, doesn't matter. You don't even realize which class is going on. Why? Your tooth is paining all the time. Your focus is on the teeth. So like that, the idea of jnani or yogi is who is always connected to divinity wherever, whatever he is doing. So with that, I think the Dhyana Yoga chapter is summarized, and I hope you had a good jog down your memory lane. So he says that among all the yogis also, yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana, the one whose inside is always devoted to me. Outside he is busy doing many activities, but inside he is continuously connected with me. Such a yogi, Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamomata. They are the best of the yogis. Outside they are busy. Atma krida, atmarati, kriyavan. They're busy working in the hospital, in the kitchen, in the canteen, in the schools, in the darshan arrangements, or wherever. But their mind is always on God. They are internally connected to God. Externally they are active doing whatever they are doing. They are the best of the yogis. They are the best of the yogis, Krishna is saying. And so he says that you must develop that kind of a yoga, Arjuna. That is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Ultimately, at the end of all this Bhagavad Gita, you should have realized that yoga, the union with divine. The yogi, Sankata comes or good times come, always mind is on Venkata only. So that kind of a yogi you become, Arjuna, he says. I think this is enough of recollecting. We will jump into the next chapter, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. From Dhyana Yoga, Krishna is now telling, okay, you do dhyana, but dhyana on whom? Dhyana on whom? Dhyana on that Supreme Self. What is that Supreme Self? He is trying to explain. See, last shloka he says, amongst all those with Shraddha who remember me. So now you may think remember me means remember Krishna. So find a statue of Krishna or a photo of Krishna, put him on the altar and then start meditating on him and sing bhajans. Is that what Krishna means? No, he means beyond that. So Jnana Vijnana Yoga is about that. Jnana means knowledge. Vijnana means Vishesha Jnana. Special knowledge. So what is this special knowledge about God? This is what Krishna is going to tell us now. What do I mean by this special knowledge? So Krishna is trying to convey who he really is. Is he the body that was born to Vasudeva and Devaki? Is he the cowherd boy of Vrindavan? Is he the destroyer of demons? Is he the ruler of Mathura? Is he the cousin of Arjuna? No. He is beyond that is what Krishna is trying to tell. So this chapter is very deep, very spiritual. In fact, this talks about the true Supreme Self and its nature and qualities and how one should meditate on it. So pay attention. Okay. So he says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamanaha Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayaha Asanshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyasyasi Tachrunu. Listen, no Arjuna. Listen up. That's what I am saying. Pay attention, Arjuna. What? I am going to tell you about that. What? Into which your mind should be completely absorbed. When you absorb your mind completely into that and take refuge in that Supreme Self, without any doubts, you will understand, you will come to know about it. How will you come to know about it? Let me explain and you listen. That's what Krishna is saying. What he says? Jnanam te aham savijnanamidam pakshamya asheshataha yajñatva neha bhuyo anyad jnatam avyashishyate. He says, now I am going to tell you that special knowledge, knowing which there is nothing else need to be known, there is nothing remains to be known. So beautiful. It means if you know this knowledge, you will know everything about science, maths, English, chemistry, geography. No, not that. Like by knowing gold, you know all the ornaments. If I show you a bangle made of gold, if you show a ring made of gold, I show you chain made of gold, somebody will call it ring, chain and bangle, but a jeweler will call what? It's all gold. This is a joke. One jeweler told, I'll give you a gift. There is a statue of Ravana and there is a statue of Rama. Both are made in gold. Which one do you want? What will you say? Both are made in gold. One is Ravana and one is Rama. So you will say, I am a Rama devotee, I will take the Rama statue. But the jeweler, how will he think? Whichever statue is more weight, I will take that. How does it matter it is Ravana or Rama? Alva? Gold is important. So a Jnani will look at gold. Ajnani will see, no, I am Rama Bhakta, I will take Rama. How can I take Ravana statue? I will take Ravana statue better. 10 heads more weight, more gold. I can melt and make more money. So he is not deluded by the forms of Ravana and Rama. A Jnani is looking at the gold, and by knowing gold, he knows the value of everything. That Krishna is saying, let me tell you the knowledge, knowing which nothing else needs to be known. Once you know that, you know everything. The same thing we see in Mundaka Upanishad, where Shaunako Mahashalo, Shaunaka Muni goes to Angirasa and says, I have studied everything, I have done everything, yet I am not satisfied. I think something is there which I don't know, because tell me that, knowing which, Kasminnu Bhagavo Vijnate Sarvavidam Vijnatam Bhavatiti, by knowing which I will come to know everything. And that is the time when Angirasa says, Dve Vidye Veditavye iti hasma yad brahma vido vadanti. Our ancients have said, knowers of Brahman have said what? 2 kinds of knowledge are there in this world. You know all that knowledge. Parachaiva Aparacha. One is Aparavidya, one is Paravidya. In those days, Aparavidya was Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvanaveda, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaran, Niruktam, Jyotisham, Chandamiti. All the knowledge which is there in the Vedas and Vedangas, that was Aparavidya, which was needed for Brahmins to conduct rituals and earn a living. That which takes us to the highest of the self, that is Paravidya. So you all have these Paravidya classes, right? So the origin of this Para and Aparavidya terms are from Mundaka Upanishad. Apara is all the knowledge of the world that you need to survive. Jivakoparjana or Jivanopadhi Vidya. And Para is that which is Jivita Paramavadi, which takes you to the highest knowledge. So Krishna is telling about that highest knowledge, knowing which everything is known, means knowing God, everything is known as God. Brahma Veda, Brahma Iva Bhavati. So this is very important. Third shloka he says, but the plight, though it is such a beautiful knowledge, knowing which you will be ever happy, never sad. Yet nobody wants this knowledge. Why? He says, Manushyanam sahastreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatamavi siddhanam kaschit mam veti tatvataha. Out of thousands of people, few people walk on the spiritual path. No wonder there is only one student for Krishna. Because nobody wants to walk on the spiritual path. They don't realize its value and importance. And of those who walk on this spiritual path and attain some achievement, even they don't understand me completely, he says. Because God is something you cannot know Him by anything other than being Him. How do you know you are a boy? By being a boy. How do you know you are alive? By being alive. So by doing that, only you know that. Likewise, by being God alone, we can know God. So he says thousands of people are there, out of which a few people walk on this spiritual path. And of those people who walk on the spiritual path, who put efforts and attain some understanding, very, very few people, some one person truly comes to know about me. So you can imagine if you are already walking on the spiritual path, you are better than thousands of those who are not walking. They are busy right now watching TV or reading something or roaming around or eating and sleeping and making merry. You are sitting here. So first step is taken care of. The second step is put enough efforts so that you realize God and you feel God in everything and everyone, within and without. And then you'll know what God truly is. So anybody who develops selfless pure love without desires, without attachments, becomes that divine self which came as Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, name it. He also came as Sirdi Baba, Satya Sai Baba. And if you become that divine self of pure love, you will also become God. That is our scripture. No other religion, no other scriptures of the world say you can become God. Only Sanatana Dharma says. Not become God. You are God, Sanatana Dharma says. Tattvam asi. You are that. You feel you are something else, you are deluded. But you are that. You think you are a bangle and you are different from the chain and you are different from the ring. So bangle and chain and ring are all fighting. But the Jnani sees you are all gold. If I melt the bangle and the ring and chain, what remains? Tell me. Bangle will disappear, chain will disappear, ring will disappear. What will remain is gold. That is the idea of Satya Sai Baba. After you remove names and forms from Satya Sai, Shirdi Sai and all kinds of Sais, what remains is the Tattva. That is divinity, that is Supreme Brahman. That Brahman had decided to come taking a form and a name in a particular place. And the same Brahman is acting through all of us. Then why is it that I am sitting on the stage and you are sitting down and listening to me? Why? Because I have worked to develop that selfless love. You are still working. If you also develop that, you also become me. It doesn't matter where we sit then. That is the purpose, that is the journey. See, if Dhyana Vijnana Yoga is trying to make it simpler, we have even simpler definition of God. Selfless love. Yeah, now the definition of God Krishna is going to give is quite complicated. But my definition of God is your pure selfless love. Develop that. So here is the opportunity for you to be here, learn all these things, walk on the spiritual path, develop selfless love and become God. So simple, every good is God, I say. G-O-O-D, good, G-O-D, God. So do good and you become God. So simple. Just do good. Kuru punya mahoratram smaranitya manityatam. Simple step of become God. Adi Shankara laments in the Viveka Chudamani, he says, Durlabham trayave maitad, Daiva nugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshatvam mahapurusha samshraya. It's very rare to find these three blessings. One is to be born as human being. You could have been born as ant, insect, cat or rat, anything, bat. But you are born as human being. In that he says, mumukshatvam, you also developed a desire to know the truth. You know you are not just this man and woman, the body that you are in, you are more than that. That has been told to you beyond your indriyas and mind and buddhi and chitta. There is an Atman in you. Like the electricity is in all the bulbs. Bulbs are different. Electricity is inside them. Like that there is an electricity called God inside you. Find that. This is what is being told to you. So he says, if you develop the desire to find God, because a lot of people don't have desire to find God. A lot of people in the world, they are busy making money, making merry. They have no time to think of God. So better than them, you say, Manushyanam Sahasresh, you are better of the lot. So congratulate yourself. Before congratulating, also one more thing, you have got this Mahapurusha Samshraya, you have got the company of a noble one. So you are very blessed, because even if you want to learn like Ekalavya, if you don't get a teacher, Dronacharya decided not to teach, Ekalavya has to struggle. But you don't have to struggle. Why? Because you are learning all the time. You're learning from me, learning from great people. Adi Shankara in Viveka Chudamani says, Labdva katham chin narajanma durlabham. Having found this narajanma, which is human birth, which is so rare, somehow you have got it this time. You were not born as a cat, rat, bat, as they said. Then tatrapi pumsatvam shrutipara darshanam. In that also you got a male birth, he says. Now no offense to the female birth, but what it means that in those times this knowledge of Vedas was accessible only to the female, or only to the male. Women were not allowed into Vedic traditions. That was somehow that when Shankaracharya was writing this, before that women were there, after that also women joined, but during that time Indian philosophy and Hinduism and Sanatanism was going through a transition phase. So you should always remember whatever is said in the time and the context of it. Don't simply quote and misquote left, right, center without any context. The context of the situation was when women were not having access to Vedas. That time Shankaracharya says, now you are born as a human, in that you are born as a male, in that Shruti Para Darshanam, you have got the understanding of the scriptures, you got to learn all that thing. Then, yastu atma muktau na yateta mudhadi sahyatma swam vinihantya sadrahat. He says, even after all these things, if you don't put efforts to realize divinity within, then you are such a fool who is committing his suicide. Japan, they say harakiri. You are such a fool that after getting a man's birth, after getting to know all the scriptures, you don't try to realize divinity, you want to make merry and enjoy life, is as good as committing suicide. This is what Isha Upanishad also say, Ekecha atmahano janaha. They are killing themselves by not following the spiritual path. Vivekananda says, those who live for others alone live, the rest are more dead than alive. Why? Because they are living selfishly. Selfishness is not divinity. So this is the idea that you all should put effort and realize the divinity. Then now Krishna says what divinity is, who I am, not the Devaki Sutam Vande Jagat Guruma. Who he is he says, Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhi Revacha Ahankara Iti Yamme Bhinna Prakriti Rashtadha. In 8 ways I manifest in the world. When I appear in this world, Krishna says, how many ways I appear? In 8 ways. What? Bhumi, Apo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Prithvi, Jala. In these 5 forms, you all know that. Space, ether, air, fire, water and earth. And Mana, Buddhi, Evacha. And the mind which contains all our thoughts, and Buddhi, the intelligence which discriminates the thoughts. And Ahankara, which identifies I am this boy, I am this girl, I am this man, I am this woman, I am teacher, I am a student. All this identification is Ahankara. In these 8 ways, I manifest. Means all this is his manifestation only. But he says this is my lower manifestation. I have a higher manifestation also. You go to some shop and you want to order something. They will say, if you want a lower quality shoe, this is the price. Higher quality shoe, that is the price. Or lower weight ornament, gold, 20 carat, 18 carat is cheaper, 24 carat is costlier. Like that, Krishna is saying, my 22 carat or 18 carat manifestations are this world. I am in the air, water, sky, everything is emanated out of me. The purest form is another one. Then he says the next sloka, apare meya itasto anyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabhaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Apart from this is the lower version of mine. The upper or the higher version is another one. Which is that, he says, that appears as the jiva in all the beings. The spark of divinity in all. Like electricity is in all bulbs. Can you see electricity? You can't. But because of the electricity, the bulb is glowing. If you simply put the bulb in the socket and connect the wire and no electricity, will the bulb glow? No. So the wire, the bulb, the socket, all that connection is like the Prakriti. Prakriti means the material manifestation. But the divine in all this is like the electricity, which makes it all function. So we are functioning because we are divine. If you for a moment don't believe that you are divine, just ask yourself, are you functioning or are you dysfunctional? If you are still functioning, then you know that divine has not left you. If the Atma leaves you, that's it. What remains of you is only flesh and bones. Because the Atman is there, that is God's presence in us, we are all alive and doing what we are doing. That is why it's very important to always believe. And that is the reason Dharyate Jagat. That is why this world is existing. If God leaves this world, everything will collapse. Like electricity leaves, all the bulbs will go off. So that is the idea. Though electricity is one, in every bulb it is little electricity. There, you can't say these many bulbs, so that many electricities are there. No, there is only one electricity, but in each bulb it goes to whatever the voltage is, and accordingly, or wattage of the bulb is, and accordingly shines. If there is a big bulb, 1000 kilowatt, it will shine brighter. If it is a small bulb, a 0 watt bulb or a 10 watt bulb, it will be a small glow. So Krishna says, I am that electricity like divine presence in all, which makes the whole world sustain. If I leave, everything collapses. So that is the idea. Then so you understood there are 2 sides of Krishna, right? One is the world. Other is the divine energy which runs this world. The divine electricity which makes all the bulbs glow, fan glow, light glow, all these things. So he says, Etad yonini bhutani sarvani tyaput upadharaya aham krishnasya sragatah prabhavah pralayas tatha. I am the reason for the birth and the disappearance of the world. Like water, ocean is there. How many have seen ocean, sea? Waves are there on the ocean. Now where do the waves come from? From the ocean. Where do they stay? On the ocean. And where do they disappear? In the ocean. Ocean is like God, and we are all like waves. We appear, dance on the ocean, and then disappear after some time. And this goes on. We are born and we die, we are born and we die. In between we live. This is the process. So Krishna is saying, I am the beginning, I am the end, I am the middle of everything. Because my energy sustains everything. If the water is frozen in the freezer, it will become ice. Ice kondu shape irutte, form irutte. Ice has a shape and a form. But is it not water only? It is. So when it's water, it is one thing. It is ice, it is another thing. But both are not 2 different things, is what Krishna is saying. When I appear as the Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, I look like something else. But truly, I am only the same divine. Like the water only becomes the ice. So the one who sees water in ice as well as in the bottle of water, he knows the truth. But this is because we see the differences. We see the outer nature, we don't see the inner nature. Anta. Krishna says, Mattah parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam masutre manigana iva. Very, very important shloka. He says, beyond me nothing exists. I am the final ultimate. You split everything into pieces and finally what remains is God only. And that God is what I am, Krishna says, not the Krishna in the physical body who is pulling the chariot. I am the one who is running the whole show. The whole world runs because of me, he says. How? Like the pearls of necklace is held together through a thread, right? Beads of pearls are held together using a thread. Like that, Krishna says, I am like the hidden thread inside all the malas. And you are like malas, different flowers, different pearls. But I am the one who holds it all together. If the thread breaks, all the mala will collapse. All the flowers will come falling down. So that is the idea of Krishna. Says, I am within everyone. Because of me, everything runs. And who is he? He is the supreme divinity, not the physical Krishna. He is not talking about that at all. He is talking about the higher Krishna. And this sloka comes many times in Kathopanishad also. It comes, Indriyabhya para hi artha arthebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhi buddhir atma mahan paraha. It goes on. Finally it says, Purushat param na kinchit sa kashta sa parangatihi. He is the highest. Beyond him nothing else exists. Buddhi, body, mind, intellect, chitta, ahankara, all these are lower things. Highest is the Atman. Beyond Atman is the Paramatman. And beyond Paramatman there is nothing. And if you go to Aitreya Upanishad, there is a sequence of creation. Those who have studied Upanishads with me earlier, they know the sequence. For others, the teachers can teach them, or Paravidya teachers can teach at how Brahman alone was without name and form. From there he started thinking. He was called Ishvara. And he created Māyā Shakti. With that he created the material world. Hiranyagarbha came. From Hiranyagarbha is the gaseous clouds. Even today we see a lot of gaseous clouds in this universe. From there reactions and all that happened, and finally came manifested form. Virata. From Virata came the Jiva. So like that there is a process. Sequence is there. You can study that in Aitreya Upanishad. So ultimately Krishna is not identifying himself with the body and mind. He is identifying himself with that supreme source of everything and supreme destination of everything. He thinks of himself as the gold, not the ornaments. He thinks of himself as the ocean, not the waves and the froth and all that. So he is talking about two types of his nature. One is the manifest nature as the world. One is the unmanifest nature as the divine principle inside all. Light is the manifestation. Electricity is the non-manifest force. That is the idea. And he continues to say, who I am? Punyo gandha prithivyam cha tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu. I am the smell in the earth. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. These are the 5 qualities of 5 elements. You know, Shabda means in the Akasha or space, its quality is Shabda, sound. Without space, there is no sound. Sparsha, in air we feel the presence of touch. When air or breeze passes, brushes through our cheeks, we feel the touch. But in space, we don't feel touch. Sparsha, Rupa, fire, we feel the form. Air we don't see, fire we can see. Rasa, in water we can feel the taste. Means we can put it on our tongue and feel it. But water, rasa, and Prithvi's nature is gandha. So he says, in the Prithvi I am the gandha, the nature of earth, that is the smell, purest of the smell. Like by this, what he means to say, I am the property of all the elements. Because of me, those elements exist. If water does not have taste or fire does not have heat, will we call it a fire or water? No. So they are fire and water because of me, he's saying, because I have caused the qualities in them. Like that he goes on to say, I am the life in all, I am the fire, heat in fire. Bijamma sarva bhutanam viddhi partha sanatanam buddhi matam asmi tejasvinamaham. He says, I am the intelligence in the intelligent people. Even the ability to think and discriminate comes from the divine only. Basically these slokas, which will go on like this for some time, I will skip all that. What it says is that I am the reason why everything exists. Without me nothing exists. This is what Krishna is trying to say as the supreme being. This shloka is important. Ye chaiva sattvika bhava rajastas tamasas ye matta evedi tanvidhi natvaham teshu me te mayi. All these rajas, tamas and sattva guna. 3 gunas you are aware of. Rajas means activity. Sattva means purity, calmness. And tamas means, we all are aware, laziness. So all these 3 qualities are because of me, but I am beyond all these qualities. Like ring is because of gold. Bangle is because of gold, chain is because of gold, but gold is not because of all the 3. You get my point? So when you look at God and say, this God is angry God, that God is happy God, that God is lazy God, this is all your imagination. He is beyond all the things, is what Krishna is trying to say. And then he goes on to say that mohitam na abhi janati mamebhya param avyayam. People deluded by these gunas, they don't realize that I am the supreme one who is not touched by these gunas. Idea is that Krishna is beyond attachments. Many people interpret Krishna's life in so many wrong ways. But Krishna is beyond attachment, beyond moha, beyond raga, dvesha, everything. He acts for the sake of running the world. But he is beyond all that. You should never forget. One day one fellow was sitting with me, he said, Swami, when you say like this, is it that you are acting all the time? That you are happy or you are sad or you are angry or you are... How do I tell him that in a way, yes, we are all acting actually. In a way, without knowing we are acting, I know and act. You don't know and you act still. So that is the idea. God just acts in this world for the sake of running the world, setting an example. You remember that? Yajyadacharati shreshtaha. As the good people set examples, others will follow. So for that sake, but don't ever reduce him to your level of understanding that he's also getting angry, he's also getting upset, he's also getting happy, excited, he's getting depressed. None of these affect that. Example, sunlight is there. When it falls on let us say on a lotus flower, does it become any beautiful? Sunlight becomes beautiful? No. If it falls on a garbage bin, does it become dirty? No. Sunlight is not touched by garbage bin or lotus flowers. Or a bulb is there. If bulb is in the bathroom, does it become impure bulb? And you take the bulb and put it into puja room, does it become a pure bulb? Promotion from bathroom to puja room. Or the electricity which flows through the bathroom wires is different from the electricity that flows through the Premamritam. Does electricity become purer or dirtier by this? No, it's beyond. But everything runs because of that electricity only. Yet electricity is not becoming dirty or pure by virtue of associating with all the material causes. So that is the idea Krishna is telling. See how beautiful that divinity is the reason for everything, yet it is beyond all. That is the purity of divinity. Then he says, Devi hyesham gudamayi mama māyā duratyaya māmeva ye prapadyante māyā metam tarantite. See, because of, then why do we not see God in everyone? Because Krishna himself answers, because I have one Shakti called Māyā. I fool you with that Māyā Shakti. I cover it. For example, if you light a lamp which has a cover, after some time soot forms, a black soot forms. Then you can't see the light. Then you have to clean the glass cover, you can see the light again. Likewise, this Māyā of God, which is in the form of the Prakriti around, that does not allow us to see God. We have to put an effort. That is what is samskara. We have to put sadhana, samskara, to find that God which is hiding within everything. That is why this spiritual path, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga and all that, to find that God within. But Krishna is saying what? It is my own nature, Māyā, that I have hidden everything and nobody can find me easy. One story is there. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara were discussing where to hide the divinity, where to hide God. So somebody said, we'll hide him in Brahmaloka. Then people said, no, people are, they'll come all the way flying and catch hold of Brahmaloka also, you will find you here. Yes, no, we'll hide it in water, deep in the ocean. They said they'll dive into ocean and find good divinity. No, we should put it on the mountain. No, they'll climb the mountain and find divinity. Should make it really tough, they decided. So what they said, hide it within man only, because that is where he won't search. That is how God is. He's right within, but we can't see him because he has hidden himself. So Duratyaya, it becomes difficult to find him. But who can find me? Those who surrender to me find me, he says. Yamaivesha vronate tena labhyaha tasyaisha atma vivrunute tanum swam katopanishad. Those who seek me, search for me, want me, I reveal myself to them. I was telling this Māyā and God are like, a man and his dog. Man is living in the house. Suppose the friend wants to come and meet the man, his friend. Dog is at the door, at the gate. A dog is barking. Then this fellow gets scared. Now how can he reach his friend on top? Two ways. One, he makes friendship with the dog, gives him biscuit or something, and the dog will become yours. He will allow you to go inside without biting you. Or call your friend. Oh friend, I have come here, but your dog is not letting me in. Then the friend will come to the balcony and tell the dog, hey dog, don't trouble him. He's my friend, let him in. Then you can go in. So Māyā is like the dog at the gate of God. And if you want to find God, either overcome Māyā or call God saying that please take care of this Māyā and let me see you. So idea is that either you conquer Māyā through sadhana or go do Sharanagati and find God. Tell God, you take care of this Māyā, it's not my cup of tea. You please handle your dog. I want to see you. God will come down to seek you and take you up if you really are a good devotee. But will God come down to everybody and anybody? No, He'll come only for those who want only Him and nobody else. Those who believe that God is not even existing, where is God to be found for them? So many people are atheists. When I went to Hong Kong, I asked, there are Buddhist monasteries, there are Christian churches. Which religion is the one they are following in Hong Kong? The devotee said, Swami, all these were there built long time ago. Now the new age thing is atheism. It means they don't believe in God at all. They are not Buddhism, this is not Christianity, it's atheism. They don't believe in God. It's a new age trend. So the one who doesn't believe in God, can they find God? They can never find God. That is what na samparaya pratibhati balam pramadyate vittamohina mudham. Yama says, these balam, these kids in spirituality, means immature fellows don't know that God exists. For such people, they get fooled by the distractions of the world, this māyā. And they never find God. They are lost in the māyā. Ayam loko nasti paraiti mani puna puna vashamapadyate me. They think only this world exists. There is nothing beyond this. Khao, piyo, khana, pina, sona, marna. This is our enjoyment here. Beyond that, nothing exists. So they never search for God, they never find God. And they keep coming back to me again and again, Yama says. Because they keep dying, they are born again, they die again. Because of their desires, they are born again, it goes on and on. Forever. For them. But we are fortunate. Aren't we fortunate? Why? Because we at least believe God exists, right? And Katopish asti ityeva uplabdhasya tattva bhavo prasidati. If you believe that it exists, it becomes happy with you. And it wants to reveal itself to you. So even if you believe that God exists, if you don't feel Him, if you don't see Him, yet you believe Him, you have already crossed a big hurdle. Most of the world is unable to believe that God exists. They keep arguing, and nowhere they reach. So you are lucky children, you are lucky devotees who believe that God exists. But this God cannot be found by people who are not having surrender or those who don't want sadhana, don't do sadhana. Kathopanishad says, na virito duscharita na shanta na samahitaha. Those who are bad evildoers, those who don't have peace of mind, those who don't have a concentration of mind, also ashanta manaso vapi, those who don't have patience in sadhana. 20 minutes of sadhana, God reveal yourself to me. Somewhere I read a quote. Come on, peace, come to me. I don't have all day to meditate. So that is the idea in the next sloka 15 says, Namam dushkritino mudhaha prapadyate naradhamaha māyā apahruta jnana asuram bhavam ashritaha. What kind of people will not find me? Very nice. You can search your category in this. Namam dushkritino, those who do wrong things, they don't find me. Mudhaha, foolish people who don't believe God exists, cannot find me. Naradhamaha, those who are lazy on the spiritual path, who are only busy with their lower instincts and desires and never think beyond that, they cannot find me. Then māyā apahruta jnana, those who listen to all kinds of arguments, read all kinds of stupid things and they argue and their discrimination is gone. Such people don't find me. Asuram bhavam ashrita, and rakshasi bhava, tamasic bhava, people who are having lot of anger, aggression, and these kind of people, demon-like people don't find me. Five category: dushkritino, mudaha, naradamaha, māyā apahruta jnana, and asuram. Up to you, you search which category you fall into. Why you are not finding God? Dushkritino, no, I don't think you people are bad people. Mudaha, fools, no, you are not. You are very intelligent children and devotees. Naradamaha, lazy on the spiritual path, maybe that could be the category. I think naradamaha is the category. A spiritual lethargy. So that's why you don't find God. Krishna is saying, these people don't surrender to me and never find me. So please come out of this spiritual laziness and work hard. So Krishna says, out of the kind of people who come to me, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinojana arto ritarthi jignasu jnani cha bhartarshaba. I have repeated this sloka any number of times. That day Jagadguru came, he also said, 4 kinds of people come to God. All are good people only, because they are better than those who don't believe in God. So believe in God, but arti, those who come for solving their problems. I have back pain, leg pain, cancer, this, that, they come to me also. Please cure me, help me. Then artharti, I want promotion, I want a new job, I want to buy a new car, a big bungalow. They also come to me. Then who come to me? Jignasu. What is God? Does God exist? How does God exist? What is His nature? How can I realize God? Kutuhala, the Jignasu also they come to me. But 4th category, they're Jnani. They already know God exists. They understand God's existence. They experience God's existence. They also come to me. But of the four, who are the dearest to me? God is dear to all. Why? He solves your problem, He becomes dear to you. He gives you promotion, He becomes dear to you. He solves your questions and gives your answers, He is dear to you. But who is dear to God? I always say, it's not important you say you are my devotee. I should say you are my devotee. I should give the certificate. I should stamp. Vidu na bhaktudani. You should be my devotee. I should tell that. You can't go on claiming. So that is the idea, and he says that of all the people, Jnani are the dearest to me. Why? Because they don't want anything from me. They just want me and me alone. Such people are dear to me. Truly is that I really feel for this shloka. Because I have so many devotees, thousands of them, and problems will come, daily problems come in everybody's life. Because anityam asukham lokam, what can you do about it? It is the nature of the world. You sit in the boat and say, boat should never rock, it should be steady like on the ground. It's not possible. So then whom do I like the most? I like those who want nothing from me, who just are always wanting to experience the divinity and they're satisfied. Atmanyeva atmanatushta. They're happy in all circumstances. I give the example of 4 Bala devotees, small devotees. Who are those? One is Markandeya, Arti, because he was about to die and he prays to Shiva and Shiva comes and extends his life. Then Artharti, Dhruva. He wanted to sit on his father's lap and become the next king. He prays to Narayana, Narayana blesses them. Jignasu, Nachiketa, he wants to know what lies beyond death. How do we attain that? Jignasu. He also attains God. And Prahalada. I say Prahalada is the best devotee, Prahalada. He doesn't want anything from God. Whatever problems came, he never called, Narayana, help me, get me out of this place. My father is torturing me. Kill him. Nothing he said. He just went on doing Anta. Narayanam, Narayanam. Everything is Narayana. Good is Narayana, bad is Narayana. Easy is Narayana, difficult is Narayana. At the end, when Narasimha Avatar appears and saves him and kills his father, Narasimha is Ugra Narasimha, is very angry. And his big tongue, lion's face, you can imagine a huge lion sitting on the chair with sharp nails which has torn apart his father's stomach just a while ago. And big, fierce teeth and big tongue. And he's roaring in anger. At that point of time, all gods are shivering. They don't know how to calm him down. And this Prahalada sings a stuti and calms him down. And when Narayana calms down, he picks up Prahalada, puts him on his lap. So happy, and Bhagavatam describes this. And starts licking this Prahalada's face with his tongue. Because he's so happy with him. And then tells Prahalada, ask me something. I'm so happy with you. And Prahalada says, I have nothing to ask. No, just ask something. I want to give you something. No, I don't want anything. No, ask something. Just for my sake, you ask. I insist. And then Prahalada says, oh Narayana, if you must insist and if I must ask, then I only ask for one boon, that I should never ask for anything from you. I should be happy in whatever situation, wherever I am, thinking, knowing that you are there. I should never ask anything from you. Jnani cha Bhartarshava. He is the Jnani, like Prahalada, who knows difficulties are there. So Krishna says, Tesham Jnani Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyo Hi Jnani Notyartham Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. That person who has one-pointed devotion to me, always thinking of me and wants nothing else, never gets distracted from this path. He is dearest to me and to him I am the dearest. That kind of devotee one should become is what Krishna is saying. I will skip one more thing, and he says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, 19th shloka, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate, Vasudevah Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. He says, that person who can become like this Jnani cannot attain it just like that. After several births of penance and prayers and sadhana, one attains this state of Jnana. We all begin with Arti, Artarti. We begin with Nastika and then come to Arti, Artarti, Jignasu and Jnani. And it takes many births to become like that. But good news is that whatever effort we put, it never gets wasted. Last time Krishna told. Even if you can't become Jnani now, there is hope. Why? Because someday all these accumulated goodness, punyam will help you to become a Jnani. And such a person who sees God in everything and everyone is a rare person to come by. And I have a very beautiful shloka from Ashtavakra Gita, which I really love. He says, Bubukshirhi samsare mumukshurapi drishyate bhoga moksha nirakangshi viralohi mahashaya. See, there are people in the world who want bhoga, bubukshi. I want money, I want fame, I want power, I want position, I want this, I want that. Plenty of them who worship God for that. Then mumukshuriha, those who want moksha, give me moksha from this wife, give me moksha from this teacher, give me moksha from poverty, pain, suffering, disease. Enough people cry. or moksha from this bondage of the body also people cry. They also are there. But bhoga moksha nirakankshi, the one who does not hate the world, reject the world, nor he gets engaged in the world. Such a person of a steady mind, rarely we find, Ashtavakra says. He has no hatred, no raga, no dvesha. Whatever comes, yada yad kartum mayati tat krutva tishtati sukham. He is happy doing whatever comes his way. Never demands anything from anyone. I don't want this, I want this. That idea does not exist in such a person. Rarely you find such a person in this world, says Ashtavakra. Same thing, Jnani cha bhartarshaba. And such a Bhakti Yoga will come 12th chapter. How beautifully Krishna describes who is my true devotee. It's a chapter, everybody should memorize it, 12th, when we come to that. So this is the idea. Then he says, but people worship God for different reason. Kamaiste tair hatak jnana prapadyante anya devataha tam niyamamasthaya prakrutya niyatah svaya. By their own nature, what they want from different God, they worship gods for that. Somebody wants money, they would worship whom? Lakshmi Kubera Homa, very favorite Homa. Then somebody wants health, Dhanvantari Homa, or Mrityunjaya Homa, live long life. Or if you want lot of knowledge, Mahaganapati, Mahasaraswati Homa, right? So you have different gods for different homas. Why you do all that? Because you want certain results from them. You want some desires you have. So people for their own desires worship different gods, but Krishna is so compassionate. He said they're all kids, they're still learning, that we should not ask God for anything. But okay, they will learn as they grow up. So I say, no, I have come here, I give you everything that you ask for, so that one day you will ask me for what I have come to give. And I have not come to give all these things. This is a part of it, but not whole of it. So Krishna says, yo yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya architum ichchati tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadamyaham. Whoever worships me in whichever name, whichever form, Mrityunjaya, Lakshmi, Kubera, Ganapati, Saraswati, Shiva, Narayana, I will bless them in that form. I'll give faith to them in that form. Who worship me Satya Sai, I'll give faith to them in Satya Sai. Who worships me Shirdi Sai, I'll give faith to them in Shirdi Sai. See, when Shirdi Sai Baba was there, Satya Sai Baba was not there. When Satya Sai Baba was there, Shirdi Sai Baba was not there. Does it mean all the devotees of Shirdi Baba do not have any spiritual experiences anymore? Don't they see Shirdi Baba? Don't they have his darshan? They also have. So who went there to give darshan as Shirdi Baba? I went there. That I, Supreme, went there. So Krishna is saying, as a Supreme Lord, I give faith to everybody in whatever path they follow, because my interest is that someday they should grow and become a Jnani. Let them begin wherever. I want education, I want money, I want wealth, I want marriage. Okay, given. Someday we should be done with all these things and ask for highest truth and of spiritual truth. That is why Krishna gives faith to everybody. But when Krishna is standing here to give you that, should you behave silly and should you shortchange this opportunity for silly things? I tell the story of Kalpavriksha and coffee podi, you remember? One man's wife says, my mother is coming, coffee podi got over, go and get coffee podi from the market, coffee powder. Now wife's mother is coming, Attagaru, you can imagine. If his mother was coming, coffee is not there, milk is not there, no problem. Wife's mother is coming, he says, go get. So he runs to the shop, all shops are closed, Bharat Bandh or something like that. Now what do he do? He sits, if I go home, my wife is not going to spare me. I'd rather sit here, and he was waiting under a tree and crying to God, help me with coffee podi. Then one rishi passes that way, saint. He says, why are you crying? My wife asked for coffee podi and all the shops are closed. He says, Ayyo, you don't know, you are sitting under Kalpavriksha. It can give you anything that you ask for. Can it give coffee podi to me? He said, yes, of course. Oh yeah, give me a half kg coffee podi. And he takes coffee podi and goes home to save himself from his wife's wrath. Imagine he was sitting under Kalpavriksha. That is the story. People here ask for silly things. I still bless them, but that is not what you should be worried about. Ask for the highest. Knowing which nothing else needs to be known. Ask for that. That is what Krishna likes. Jnanis he likes. And then he goes to say, Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktas Tasya Radhana Mihate Labate Tasa Kaman Maya Eva. This is also because of me. If you get coffee podi under the Kalpavriksha, it's also because of my grace only, Krishna is saying. Because Kalpavriksha is Kalpavriksha, whatever you ask, it gives. So whoever worships me for whatever reason, because of me only they get that, he says. And remember that even that is because of me. I tell the story of a king who displays all his wealth on his birthday and says, anybody can pick up anything from here. And everybody starts taking gold vessels, ornaments, nice items. One girl does not take anything. And the king asks, why are you not taking anything? Is there nothing that you like? She says, I am looking for something which is not on display. What is that? I am looking for you. Give me yourself to me. Give yourself to me. Give your hand in my hand. That is all I want. That's how a jnani is. This whole world, Maya, is a display. Wealth, name, fame, position, power, all these just display, exhibition of the king. King is hiding behind all this. A jnani will see through this drama and go and ask for the king. Because if you get king, you get the kingdom. But that's not the reason why you want the king. You want the king because he is the highest. So that is the idea. Though Krishna will give anything and everything, don't ask for unwanted thing. And he goes on to say, Antavattu phalam tesham, all these things have an end. These little desires will end someday. It will never remain forever. That happiness will not remain. Alpamedasam, those who have less intelligence, fools, they ask for such silly things from me. Devan deva yajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. If you worship a particular god, you will reach that god. Those who worship me as the supreme nirguna nirakara Brahman, they will realize Brahman. They reach me, he says. How beautiful, isn't it? Ask and it shall be given, it is said. But what should we ask? We should know in the first place. Knock and the door shall be opened. Which door to knock? We should know in the first place. That's why you should be in the company of jnanis, satsanga, so that you will be able to ask the right things. And then Krishna says, don't think I am that body which has been born and will vanish after some time. Because in the beginning, he says in this shloka, Vyaktam Vyakti Mahapannam Manyante Mam Abuddhayaha Param Bhava Majananto Mam Avyayam Anuttamam. Fools think that I am the one who was earlier in Nirguna form, now I have come in a Saguna form, then I'll disappear into Nirguna form. I am born, I live and die and disappear. These are all less Buddhi people. Highest Buddhi people think of me as what? They think of me as somebody who was always there. In second shloka, Krishna tells Arjuna, when he is shy of killing his cousins, that time he says, why do you worry? Avyaktadini bhutani madhya vyaktani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatraka paridevana. Why are you crying? They were not there before, now they are there. Again they won't be there. Why you cry like that? So Krishna is warning Arjuna, don't apply the logic on me now. That you were there, you are not there, you will be there again. No, I am always there. I am the constant. I am the screen on which the movie plays. I am the ocean on which the waves play. I am the electricity which runs the whole show. I am never gone, I never manifest. I am always there as a constant. Body or form may come and go. So Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna, don't consider me as this body with a name and form. You will be misunderstanding me. So therefore, rise above that. And he says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga mayaya samamvritaha mudhoyam nabi janati loko mam ajam avyayam. Because of my own maya, people are not able to understand my truth. Fools, those who don't have this spiritual sense, to them I cannot manifest. I don't reveal myself to them. Na avirato dushcharitat, same story. You don't reveal. Whom does it reveal to? Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tatra prakashante mahatmana. Tatsyete kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, those who have true bhakti, what bhakti? Jnani bhakti. To them it reveals automatically. Others it won't reveal, it hides from them. That is the idea. Krishna says, Mudhoyam na abhijanati. They don't understand me. These fools don't understand me. At best they think I am a body and a mind. One shloka of Vishapanishad, this book refers to Hiranmayena patrena sasya sahipita mukham tattvam pushana pavranu satya dharmaya drishtve. Oh Lord, this divinity is covered as if covered in a golden vessel with a lid. And I can't open the lid. I pray to you, God, please open the lid and reveal this divinity to me, because I am a deserving candidate. Satya dharmaya drishtve. I have followed Satya and Dharma. I have followed your rules, regulations. Please reveal to me yourself, because I cannot open this lid of the vessel. Like, one tight lid is there, Amma is trying to open. It doesn't open, then she calls the father. Can you open this lid for me? It's got stuck. Then father with his strength opens. Likewise, this devotee is praying, oh God, I cannot open the lid of Maya and find the truth inside. Please open it for me. That is the idea of surrender. So you surrender for Krishna. Krishna says toward the concluding shlokas, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani cha charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Here he says. In this shloka he says that I know everything, past, present, future of all, but nobody knows me. Because nobody knows me till now one becomes me. So that is the idea, that you become God to know God. Otherwise, I know everything about everyone because I am in everyone. How you know everything? Because you are in everything. How do you know ant is crawling on your body? Because this is your body. You can feel it. Likewise, God is in all, and therefore, bhavishyani cha bhutani maam tu vedana kachana. Nobody knows me. I know everything. That is what Krishna says. As not as Krishna. Tomorrow you expect as me, you should know what happened in the past, what happened in the future. No. Not as a body and a name and a form, but as the divine knows everything. That is the idea. And he says, Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Those ideas of desires and aversion, raga dvesha, ichha and bhaya. You want something, you don't want something. It is born out of this duality. Very crucial. Because we think we are different from God, therefore we have desires and we have hatred for things. Because I think I am the body. If I am God and everything is me, where is the hatred and desire? How can you desire for your own hand? How can you desire for your own leg? It is already yours. You are that. So where is the question of rejecting or accepting things, Krishna says? But it is born out of dvandva. Sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. When we are born, immediately this dvandva comes and sits on us. Duality, and we get fooled. And we forget that we are divine. That's why children, they cry, Koham, Koham. Who am I? Who am I? Parents should tell, Soham, Soham, you are that. Or that divine you are. But parents say, no, 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 you are so-and-so, son of so-and-so, grandson of so-and-so, great-grandson of so-and-so. They give him a wrong identity. That's why Mother Lasa's prayer. Shuddhosi, buddhosi, ranjanosi, samsara maya parivarjitosi. You are the purest, you are the eternal, you are the ever blissful one. You are beyond the maya of samsara. Mother Lasa sang and made her children into Brahmagyanis. But we are all given wrong identity when we are born because of this dvandva. Then we start, these people are mine, those people are not mine. This is ours, that is theirs. These differences start off. For a jnani, such a difference does not exist. So it is like that. So there is no desire to attain anything in this world because everything is you. There is no desire to reject anything, that is also you. Prince of Kashi story is there, no? That boy's young age portrait somebody paints. When he grows up, he looks at the portrait of the girl. He was painted as a girl, as a young boy. So such a photo of the boy was there, painted as a girl. And when this boy grows up, he finds that photo. He says, such a beautiful princess. She must be my age. I want to marry this girl. He gets into depression because he can't find that girl anywhere. One day his minister asks, why are you depressed? I have fallen in love with a girl. Oh, tell us, where is she? We will get you married. You are the king after all. He says, no, she is only in the photo down in the basement. They go and search and one portrait comes out. He says, this is the girl I want to marry. The minister says, Ayyo, this is you only when you were young. Your mother dressed up like girl and got this portrait made. Then he realizes, oh, what was I desiring for? I was miserable desiring to marry that girl which never existed. Because that girl was me only, dressed up like a girl. So that is the story of our life, duality story. I want this Baba, I don't want that Baba. I want this God, I don't want that God. All this foolishness comes out of duality only. This rejection, acceptance comes from duality. So he says, Te dvandamoh nirmukta bhajante mam drinavvritaha. Desham tvantagatam papam. Those who have finished committing sins, they have finished with all the wrongdoings. And jananam punya karmanam, those who do good deeds, what happens to them? Te dvandvamoha nirmukta. They become free from all the duality and the delusion born out of duality. Bhajante mam drinavvritaha. They become steady in the knowledge of me, and they worship me, or they think of me, meditate on me without any fluctuations. No, that Baba was better, this Baba was better, that God, this God. All these differences disappear for them because they see the Param Tattva. You close your eyes, you drink water. You drink water from a tumbler or a cup. Water is the one which quenches the thirst, right? Which name and form, it doesn't matter. And this is my message. Since Paravidya we started Aham Brahma Sarvam Brahma, I've been constantly trying to remind everybody, rise beyond name and form, rise beyond name and form. Otherwise you will all land up in this mess. And then don't blame me, you didn't tell us. I told you. Go above and beyond the names and forms. Names and forms are comforting, they are not the ultimate. So finally he says, Sadi bhuta daivam mam, sadi yagnyam chaye viduhu, prayana kale picha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. No, I am only the God of everything. The people who want Adibhuta means all the worship of the world, for the worldly possessions. That also I only bless as a god. Then sadhi yajnam, those who want to do all the yajnas and attain higher lokas, lokeshana, vitteshana, all that. That also I only bless them with. Anything that whichever god they go to and ask for things, I am only blessing them through all those gods. But prayana kale pichamam, at the end, those people who know that I am only behind all those things, te vidur yukta chetasa, they come to know of me at the end. So at the death, because they have seen God only in everything, the small and big, less and more, because of that they come to know of me completely and they are redeemed. This is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. And then from here it goes to Akshara Brahma Yoga. Now he further details what is that supreme, indestructible, Nirakara, Nirguna self of God. He continues to say, because we should not for a moment after Bhagavad Gita find a picture of Krishna or a statue of Krishna and dance around it. That should not be the end of Bhagavad Gita for us. End of Bhagavad Gita should have helped us to cross over the bondage of names and forms and worship that supreme divinity which is formless, nameless and in all. So Dvaita Bhakti is limited in its approach. Advaita Bhakti is the right kind of approach. And I keep telling in this Kodaikanal, every discourse that I gave was only and only directed towards this idea of Advaita Bhakti. Have love, but for that supreme who is in me, who is in you, who is in all. Maybe he is manifesting more in me with complete effulgence because it's a purer bulb. If bulb is dirty, light won't come out fully. That's all is the difference between you, me and everybody else. Remember that and try to grow beyond body, name and form. Otherwise this mission is going to get steeper and steeper. It's going to get higher and higher. And all those who want names and forms and attachments to that, they will be left confused. What's going on here? So don't you get stuck with names and forms. Like one thorn is used to remove another thorn. This form has come to remove attachment to the previous form. But at the end, both the thorns have to be thrown away. Both the names and forms have to be discarded. What it means from your mind, the attachment has to be removed and thrown away. Right? So that is the idea of this. So I am trying to explain Bhagavad Gita from our practical context of what we are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. So we can apply this knowledge in our daily life and redeem ourselves. This is one of the very beautiful, very important chapters, because first time Krishna is transitioning from the name and form Krishna that Arjuna knew to the formless Krishna that he truly is. Imagine 89 years of their life, they have never discussed this topic with Arjuna. Krishna never discussed. First time he is discussing this thing. And for Arjuna it must be a shock. But those who have learned that love is same, the divinity is same, vessels have changed, the content is same, they will never get deluded. So go for that. That is the idea of the whole chapter of Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Please go and meditate. You have heard it, contemplate on it, meditate on it and put it into practice. You can worship form, but with the complete understanding that this form is just a representation. This is just the ornament. Gold is the truth. That you should never forget. That is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. It encourages us. Walk. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran Nibodhata. Walk on this path. Get up, arise, awake. Don't stop. Because you are that, you will realize it sooner or later. Kalena Atmani Vindati. All should realize this sooner or later with these blessings. We'll close it over here. And when I come back, we will do the next chapter, which is Akshara Brahma Yoga, which is also very, very deep and philosophical chapter.